I'm going to show you exactly how Saamir Mithwani makes over $500,000 per month in profit from his online info coaching business, and exactly how you as either an online coach or creator can steal these systems and put them into your own business to generate the same results. And I'm going to break these down in a very simple 3-step process that first starts with generating traffic, nurturing that traffic, and then converting that traffic into buyers. So let's take a look at how he's generating traffic right now. So organically, he has 3 platforms: Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And on his Instagram, he has 300,000 followers, which is a very decent amount. This not only shows him as an authority because he has a big following, but also helps to push his videos out to more people. So when you land on his Instagram page, you're met by these 3 pinned posts, and they seem to be his best performing videos. And this one in particular, this one was really effective because it just breaks down his whole story. It breaks down how he went for 8 months straight without having a profitable drop shipping store, and how he's able to scale it to making like $20 million in a year from it. And then this was just a viral video of him kind of showing how the actual process of drop shipping is. And then this is just another clip on how you can actually really make dropshipping work. So the reason why this is so effective is because immediately you come to this page, cool, you find out who he is, you find out his story, you find out his results, all of which gives you a very quick understanding of who he is and the amount of value and authority he has and how he can provide it. Now, this is further reinstated by his photos and posts on his page as well. As you can see, crazy lifestyle, PJ, Lambo that he bought, and on a like just insane lifestyle in Cape Town, in Monaco, and this kind of crazy lifestyle is what is really going to just immediately slightly puts him on a pedestal, and will build that kind of gap between where his viewers are and where they want to get to, and when they get to his position. So really effective that. Then if we have a look at the type of reels he's posting, he's pretty much repurposing a lot of his long-form content from his YouTube that I'll get into in a second. And I think this is really interesting because he's not currently using the current method that a lot of other guys are using, where they just like rip head-talking style videos where they just kind of yap towards the camera. He's kind of clipping really powerful moments from his long-form, which is a very, very effective thing, don't get me wrong. And it's kind of similar to that kind of head-style talking video. It's just captured from like a more of a documentary style format. So it still provides that authenticity, which is really, really important for, building an effective content system, because you don't just want to be, value. You need to show that you're a real person, because that's mostly where people buy into you, is because they actually like you as a person. Because to break down it is how it works, in order for anyone to buy from us, they need to know us, they need to like us, and they need to trust us. So what these reels are doing is they're getting people to know him and also like him at the same time. And then the other content, the longer form content, will get them to trust him, and I'll break that down in a second. But this is really effective because it's very efficient for him to post content, because it's simply repurposed from his long form, but it's structured in an effective way, capturing trends. Like, for example, it was like a trend on Instagram we're seeing right now, where it's like going up from like day 1 to day 30, and it shows like the income that he's making, and obviously it goes from like $300 to making like $20,000 in a day. So like small things like that, really effective. You can see the views are incredible, 150k views, like consistently doing really, really well. And it's pretty much just showing off his lifestyle, showing off like thoughts that he's had about dropshipping and the same results he's been able to generate, which again is always just going to like generate appeal and eyeballs to his page to get people down into his funnel. Then occasionally on his posts, he will have a CTA, which basically is a call to action, telling his audience, like, if you want to learn how to do this and how to get into dropshipping, then comment learn. And then pretty much after you've typed in learn, you'll receive like an automated message, basically giving you the value, the free lead magnet is what we would call it. And then from there, DM setting conversation is started. Or you can also just go to his page and DM him the word brand, and then the conversation will start. And the way that this essentially works is basically there'll be an initial message like DM me brand or learn. And then from there, a setter will then go ahead and qualify that lead, build some initial rapport, like, asking questions like, oh, whereabouts are you based, man? And with that information, they can find, okay, if they're from India, if they're from a third world country, I'm not going to qualify them. I might try selling on a low ticket. Or if they're qualified, I'll keep continuing the conversation. Then from there, after you've built some rapport, you then want to find their goal. You want to find out where they want to get to. And then from there, building that gap, like from where they are right now and where they want to get to and what's stopping them from getting there. And then adding some urgency inside of that, so that basically we want the lead essentially to ask us to get on a call to get help. So that's what that urgency is, like asking questions like, hey, well, what happens if this doesn't get fixed in the next 6 months from now? Like, are you going to be okay with that? So questions like that build urgency. And then from there, you pitch the call, then it gets booked, and then the post-call assets are sent, and then everything goes on from there. So pretty much that's how that DM funnel works there. Pretty brief, pretty simple, and it's very, very effective. Not only that as well, he does have a bunch of highlights. And I think this is also a really powerful aspect on your personal brand, especially on Instagram, is make sure you maintain having an effective like sequences with stories and that kind of thing. But if you have a look at his page, his first post and his first highlight is like charity work. And I think this is really, really powerful, because this shows off at the end of the day, the lifestyle, the money, the $20 million from dropshipping. At the end of the day, this is showing off that he's actually a genuine person and he wants to go out above and beyond to helping people that are in worse positions than himself, which I think is very powerful. You could argue this is a tactic for marketing to make him seem more genuine, but there are people in this space that actually are genuine, and I do respect that, and I think anyone should be able to respect that they are at least doing stuff like this. So really, really powerful that he's doing this here. Then soon afterwards, you're seeing the regular stuff, tons of student results. You can see a bunch over here of just, full of results in his program. And what this is going to do is just going to get people to be aware that what he does actually works. Because if you have no results, it's so hard for you to sell something. It's not impossible, but it makes it a lot harder because no one has proof of concept of what you do. So if you have a ton of people telling you that this actually works, then it's only going to build more FOMO and build that realization in the prospect's mind that they can actually take action and that they can buy from it and they'll get the same results too. So really, really effective as well. Then he does have some stories and he'll occasionally run these where he's pretty much starting off with like a hook. As you can see, like nice in McLaren, got a Rolex on, and kind of just like starting again, kind of going into depth about like his why people aren't successful and how he's been able to do it. And then there'll be a CTA at the end, basically saying like DM me mentor or only taking 5 people on, bringing a bit of urgency, and then showing proof of like his own results. As you can see, like 58K in a single day. That's like a lot of money from e-com. So it's very powerful. Then, makes it casual, just another day. Promise you 99% of gurus can't show you that because obviously in this space, there's a lot of mistrust. That's one of the highest, most like lack of trust in the industry right now. And so a lot of people think these people are scamming or they're faking just to kind of sell a course, but he's actually showing you real results, distinguishing himself from the other guys in the space, which is really, really powerful. And then from there, he's just kind of giving a bit of value and showing how, he exposes his brands to his inner circle. Again, that's just going to build more FOMO. And then he does a CTA at the end there, DMing mentor if you want to join. But the key thing with this, with CTAs, if you're a creator and you think about doing them, you have to be really, really careful with doing them. Because I see some guys that run these like pretty much every other day and they're just like spamming, selling to their audience the same type of style and sequencing. And I think this is something you can either make or break with your audience. Like if you do this very, very well, it can make you like literally like 50, 100K from like one sequence. Like if you do it correctly, you have the right following and everything. And the way I'd say is you should almost treat this like your private story. Like if you have Snapchat, if anyone used Snapchat back in the day, like you kind of treat it like your close friends. And like if you make it so that when people see that story, like, oh wow, this is he's posting again. And then at the end, there's like a CTA. It's like you kind of are really sold on it. And that's what's really effective. If you make your stories very valuable, not just mundane and the same thing all the time. They have a lot of shock factor and value to them. That's just going to increase the conversions and the effectiveness of them. So definitely something that I think a lot of creators and coaches could definitely improve on. But yeah, very effective indeed. So that's his Instagram. So let's have a look at his TikTok. So again, it's kind of similar. I think he has a couple of channels. I think this is his main one, but he definitely has some clipping accounts as well. And essentially, he's pretty much posting like the exact same content as Instagram, but it's pretty much all entirely long form content. Like his long form content repurposed. As you can see, if we look at some of the titles, POV told her I'm unemployed, she's soon broke. At 20 years old, he turned to a Wi-Fi into millions. At 20 years old, most are in classes, but he's driving a Lambo. Just pumping the lifestyle, like PJs, smoking cigars in Italy, like just fully pumping the long form content and showing off the lifestyle and having viral moments. What I thought was quite effective as well is he was doing like these street interviews, which I think was very interesting. It was basically just asking the people, okay, how much do you think he made in a month? And then they were wrong. And then he goes and tells them, oh, I made $20 million. So people will see that very, like a massive audience will see that. And they'll be like, well, how does this guy make $20 million? And from there, they'll start looking to his page, looking to his details and seeing how, he's able to do it with dropshipping. So really, really effective from there. So pretty much, similar TikTok, similar content to Instagram, just really capturing on the powerful moments. And you can see it works, like 115K views, 50K views, 40K views. These are really good views that are just going to make his brand wider and more availably known to the masses. So really, really effective. So from there, he also has his YouTube. And I think his YouTube is where he mostly generates a lot of his income from. And the reason why is because YouTube is the best platform, period, for any creator to post on because it has the highest quality traffic due to the nature of the videos being much, much longer, which means that you can build a lot more trust and nurture your audience in an incredible amount. And again, you need to do this tactically. You can't just be posting lifestyle, which I think he was actually doing too much recently. Like if you look at his past few videos, like, 150K weekend grew to 21, asking what a dropshipper is, 730K in 5 days. Unfiltered weekend live 21. Like, I think he could definitely reduce these a little bit because obviously this will make you a ton of money. This will generate a ton of views, as you can see. But occasionally you might be bringing in, because you're reaching such a wider audience, you can also sometimes attract DQ people. And so it's important that you just have like a mix of the three. So you want to have lifestyle, you want to have value and you want to have authenticity, because that way people don't just see you as like some like fraud or some like lifestyle guy, but they actually like you as a person. So it's important to have that combination. So as you can see, this is more like top of funnel content. This reaches that wider audience. Like it's an insane title, like spending 150K in just one weekend. But then he also does have like, it's not like he doesn't post raw videos, but I think he needs to post them more consistently, because the last one was 3 months ago. But this type of content is really, really good though. Like an hour worth of value. This will nurture people like insane amounts. Like this is pretty much like a VSL, like these free training videos, but they're so effective because they provide so much value up front. And then you pair that with everything else, getting people to know, like, and trust him. It's just a match made in heaven. And then on top of that as well, he does have bottom of the funnel content where he's doing testimonials, interviewing his students. And I thought this was very powerful as well, because he kind of made it so that it could really be reached out to a wide audience. Like, look at that title, How These Fortnite Addicts Turned Into Millionaires. Like imagine how many people play Fortnite, how many people play video games. That's going to spark so much intrigue, and it's going to build a massive, like people have been like, how are these guys doing this? And then you realize, okay, they're doing dropshipping. Saamir, teach me how to do dropshipping. It's a very, very effective, like, testimonial video that was, I think. So yeah, very effective. Then he has like middle of the funnel content, which is more like value-based content. So, asking common questions. And this, I can see this is more like bottom of the funnel, because it's very much like a VSL, this kind of video. But yeah, very, very effective with this content indeed. And even this video here, like literally top of funnel video again, like kind of lifestyle, but 1 hour long. Like imagine someone watching your content for an hour long. That's just like insane. Like it's an insane amount of time for someone to be paying attention to you. And if they do that, there's a very high chance that they will buy. To add to that as well, he jumps on podcasts, and we've seen a bunch of other creators do this, but it's so effective because what it does is it not only generates a lot of short form clips that you can clip up of like moments of where you kind of talk about something crazy or talk about like some results, but also you're leveraging other people's platforms. Like for example, Fresh and Fit, massive platform. They're like one of the biggest podcasts in the world, and he jumped on there. 51K views. He's leveraging other people's platforms that will eventually come and look at his page and try and learn how he's made that so much money. So really, really effective from people to do this. I highly recommend jumping on platforms on podcasts and trying to do stuff like that to kind of get your brand out there, increasing that brand awareness. So very, very effective indeed. So that's pretty much all of the organic that he has. Now, he doesn't actually run any ads, and I definitely think he should, especially at the state that he's in, where he's doing multiple 6 figures a month from his coaching, because the main benefits are that it not only increases the longevity of your offer, but it just boosts your revenue. It always will boost your revenue when done effectively. Obviously, you can't just run ads stupidly. You've got to do it tactically. And I think he definitely should at least start with running retargeting ads, because all this will do is just further nurture his existing audience. So what I mean by retargeting ads is just posting ads only to people that already know you. So it's not cold traffic. It's pushing and nurturing those people further to different parts of the funnel, to different aspects of your content, to further nurture them. And it's effective because you don't need to spend as much money on it, as people already know who you are. So they don't need to see as much content as you, as opposed to someone that's cold. So they're going to higher chance that they will buy. So I definitely think he should start running ads, because it would definitely boost a ton of extra revenue for him. So yeah, that's pretty much his traffic in terms of how he's using it to acquire leads. Then if we have a look at what the type of funnels he's actually got in place, he has 2. And for example, so this is in his YouTube bar, he has the free training. And this is effective because, by the way, he has switched this around. He used to have an opt-in in his like YouTube banner. This isn't like an opt-in page, but they've swapped it to this. And this is interesting because the opt-in page will always obviously decrease like the amount of people that will view your page. But it can also be effective because you're capturing these details. And I think the reason why you should implement an opt-in page is if the conversion rate of people booking in a call is very, very low. Like if you just have the page there and the VSL there, and like pretty much like this, and barely anyone's booking in a call, then it's not good, right? And so you need to capture these leads before they get to that page so that you can contact them at a later date. But if you have a really high conversion of people watching the VSL booking in a call, then it doesn't seem necessary to obviously have that, because this opt-in will always harm the rate that people like actually go through and book in a call. But it's still very effective because it captures obviously their email and their phone number, all of which will be then used to send like email marketing campaigns. So that will just be a bunch of sequences over a week or a couple of days where you get a bunch of value from Saamir. He might direct you to a certain YouTube video to watch, and then from there might be a call to action to book in a call or watch his VSL or something like that. They will just further push you further down that funnel. Then with their phone number, they'll also be given to the sales team. So you'll have a bunch of SDRs, sales dependent representatives. They'll basically just dial this and they call these guys up and they try and book them in for that sales call. So it's also effective as well. But yeah, most of the time people are just coming straight to this page, and pretty much it's just a value-based VSL. So it's kind of like in like a slideshow structure, and he's just kind of going through like the standard type of VSL structure. So kind of like what type of dropshipping he does, how he's able to do it, and like what kind of help he can help you provide with it. But notice like he has a unique angling, branded dropshipping, not just like dropshipping, like branded dropshipping or AI dropshipping, which he does use on his other landing page. But yeah, very effective indeed. And pretty much There's a type form that you'll be able to fill out below, which I'll break down in a second. But if you just have a look at what like some of the further details in the copy, he's very much addressing a beginners. Like he's trying to tell people that, you know, anyone can do this. And this is basically what I mean by this is like addressing a wide TAM, which is the total addressable market. And the reason why this is so effective to do is because if you can reach a wider audience, then you're only going to make more money because you can reach and target a lot more people, which means more potential customers. So very, very effective from there as well, from a copy perspective. Then he just has a ton of results, right? As you would expect, you need results again consistently so people can always see that like you have good, and he has really good results, like 50K a day. Lauren, I think this is a girl as well, which is quite rare to see girls doing quite well in this space. So this is really powerful. Like this is going to make sure people have a really good idea that what he does actually works. And then, yeah, pretty much just more CTA buttons and more details about himself. So yeah, that's the kind of free training page that he directs people from his YouTube to. But on his Instagram, he's directing people to this kind of more of like a direct VSL. And in this VSL, it's a different style and format to the free training because it's not really a free training. There's no kind of slideshow. It's just him talking and like there's fancy edits and stuff like that. But look, notice the copy here. So again, he's targeting a very broad ICP, complete beginners, massive TAM that he's addressing there. And then again, he's using like a unique selling point. He's not just saying dropshipping because there's so many guys that do dropshipping. It's really important that you create your unique spin, like your own marketing, your own brand, your own selling point around it. So in this case, he's using AI brand building to create 6- and 7-figure e-commerce brands faster than ever before. Really, really effective. And pretty much, yeah, this is another standard VSL, but this style was much more related to the fact that it's, you know, AI is this big thing, how you can use it to make lots of money with dropshipping. It's this brand new thing, again, building a lot of FOMO, and then through that, he'll just show his results and then how his offer essentially works. Then from there, he's kind of just breaking down the business model. This is just, again, effective for people that might, you know, have never done dropshipping before. This will give people a better understanding. What I do think is missing from this landing page, though, is like video testimonials, because it's really effective, of course, to have testimonials in general, like screenshots like this. But what's more powerful is actual videos of people being interviewed by him, because it's like a longer process, like 15-20 minutes, and it's like a live person talking. It seems more real than just like a screenshot that could, you know, arguably be faked. So I definitely think he should add those, and that probably maybe boost the conversions onto the page here, 100%. But yeah, pretty much it's not bad at all. From here, obviously, once you on either of these landing pages, as soon as you press apply, you're then taken to this type form. And these type forms are done in place to filter out people that, you know, cannot financially qualify for his program. So let's take a look at it. So do you have at least 10 hours to spend? Again, this is just pretty pointless question, just like getting people to commit to this. Then he asks for their goal and like what they want to do with this, and then building pain as well by asking what's stopping them from getting started. Then he captures their details. And the reason why he does this is in case they drop off after the next few questions, they can then at a later date be contacted by the sales team, right? Because then the sales rep can call them up and mean like, hey, I saw you were filling out an application about getting help from Saamir. Like, how's everything going with your dropshipping right now? And then starting a whole qualification process, trying to book them in from there. So this is really effective at recouping people that will drop off, because naturally when you have these forms where you're asking for details for your phone number and stuff, this will just like add a lot of friction. And I do think this was kind of pointless adding this again here. I feel like he should add the email into the first part and remove like the last name, because you don't really need people's last name. I think this could maybe like reduce the drop-off rate. I might be wrong in terms of the fact that he might have split tested himself and found it differently, but I just feel like it seems a bit unnecessary to have a whole question dedicated just to the email. Then I also feel like this question is arguably pointless as well, because you can't really do that much with someone's monthly income. It does give you a good idea of their financial like situation, but you can have a student that makes no money but has like 10K in savings, right? And that's still a highly qualified lead. So I think they could definitely leave this out and just let the triager, let the person that will call them up after they booked in a call, find out this information, because this is very useful information for the closers, because they can figure out what kind of monthly split they could afford if they can't pay in full. But I definitely think just in terms of reducing the submission rate, so the amount of people that fully go through the form, they should probably remove this. But yeah, so then obviously you come to the main financial qualifier, which just says obviously starting a business, you need capital for your store to learn the right skills, how much cash do you have in hand? And this is making sure like the best leads possible are getting access to the closers. So this will really filter out those people, because obviously you can imagine there's a ton of traffic coming to this page, and you don't want a calendar for your sales reps to take, or you yourself as a creator taking them, of just broke people, right? No one wants broke people on their calls. We want people that are fully qualified, have a lot of money, and want to buy from our products. So this is what this question does, is it filters those people out. And then from there, obviously, if you select, I believe it's like one of these options, you'll then simply taken straight to the booking page. But if you say you have less than 1,000 USD, they then have this option here which says, there is still a way we can help you with buy now and pay later option, just to see if there's a way. Do you ever have a rough estimate of your credit? And the reason why they're doing this is because even if people don't have a lot of capital up front, let's say less than $1,000 in this situation, through payment providers like Spitit, Klarna, and Affirm, you can actually use these financing companies to get the full amount. So essentially the lead, you would receive, let's say that you're charging $4,000 for your offer, and the prospect only has $500. If they have a good enough credit score, they can get financing, and that means you would get the full $4,000, and then the financier, the bank essentially, would then charge them interest, the prospect, and over time separately deal with how they pay for it. So it's pretty much a win-win for you as a creator for generating extra cash from broker leads, because as long as they have a good credit score, you can make a ton of extra revenue from people that might not have liquid capital available. So this is really, really effective at increasing your profit and increasing your cash collected and everything like that. But let's say if you don't have enough of a credit score, which there definitely are, because there can people that be under the age of 18 or just have really bad credit scores, you're then disqualified, right? You're not given access to the closers, you're not given access to the high ticket. But he does have another option, and this is basically like a low ticket, which I think is really effective because it will just recoup a lot of the people. I say recoup, but it'll gain an extra bit of cash on the back end from people that can't afford that high ticket. And they're basically taken to like a downsell page. It's like another VSL on like this kind of blueprint that he used. And it's pretty brief VSL, but pretty standard stuff. It's only $47, I believe. And what this will do is just, generate extra cash, and this potentially could upsell people that maybe have lied on that form or at a late time when they're in a better financial position will end up buying from him. So it's really effective to have a downsell in place so that you can still offer something to your audience that might not be have as much capital available, but also can still get value from you. And obviously you would make money from that as well. Not a ton, but still some money. So really effective there. As you can see, just taken to a whop pretty much from there. But if you are qualified, you are financially able to buy from him, you're then taken to the Candy where you can go ahead and book in a call. And they pretty much just standard name, email, phone number, so they can send you the sequence for the sharp rate. And then from there, they also ask for your Instagram as well. The reason why they'll have this because sometimes if they're unable to contact you from WhatsApp or Instagram or WhatsApp or iMessage or GHL, it's effective to also capture their Instagram because then you can directly message them from there. So it's really important that you have as much information about the lead in case it's very difficult to get a hold of them, that you actually can do so. So really effective that is there. Then pretty much after you've booked in, you're then taken to like a pre-call page and you're basically told to watch the VSL. And the reason why it's so important that you make sure your prospects watch the VSL before the call is because not only will it increase the sharp rate, because if they've consumed it, they're going to be much more emotionally charged and invested into what you do because it'll bring up their pain because you'll be calling it out ideally in the VSL. Then it also preempts any common objections. So if you script your VSL accurately and you handle some common objections people might have about your offer, like the pricing they need to get started, needing any help, being able to do this by yourself, that kind of thing. This can potentially pre-handle those. Then, of course, it just establishes the authority and trust of the offer in itself. So if people don't come into this and watching this, they might not have as much trust into the program. Then, obviously, it can also frame the call as like a non-free training. Because I see this happen with a lot of offers, is they'll have these free training VSLs. But if you don't have more of a direct VSL, you don't want these leads coming into call thinking they're getting free source, right? You want them coming in warm, knowing they have a problem, having the money, and knowing that you can help them. That's ideally what you want. So it can help frame the call in the right way so that you don't have leads jumping on thinking it's free source. Then, of course, it will just naturally increase the close rate because they've already consumed 10 to 15 minutes of like the pitch pretty much and of value. So it really just warms people up before that call. So it's really, really effective and important that you get people to watch your VSL before they show up to the call. Then I think he had one video testimonial here. So how we took his dropshipping to 240K a month. Again, an insane testimonial, really, really effective. But I think he should just add more because, the thing with having one video testimonial is it's obviously it's cool, this one result, but people always want to see more just so they know this is not like staged or fake. And it just shows, gives more proof of concept to your offer if you've helped multiple people and there's multiple videos showing that. So I think he really needs to capitalize on adding more student interviews. And then pretty much there's just some more like visual steps in text telling you what to do before that call. So obviously making sure you show up on time, distraction-free area. Because the worst thing that you can have if you're a closer and you have your closers on your offer and they're taking calls of guys that are walking around in the gym or in a car. It's the worst thing possible. So you want to make sure they're in a nice, quiet location. Then any decision makers on the call, right? Because what you might happen is you might have someone that's maybe in their 30s, 40s, has a wife and not how to buy something because they have because their wife needs to control their finances, something like that. That can be handled with good closing, but by having these decision makers on the call, like your parents, business partners, etc., it reduces the friction that might happen on that sales call, which again will just increase the close rate and the cash collected per call. So yeah, pretty much really, really effective from there, just setting the frame of the call. And that's pretty much everything regarding the funnel that happens with his offer. So from here, everything else is pretty much handled by the sales team. So as soon as I booked in, I received this message. Hey, as I said, this is Saamir from Bandify. So they were kind of acting like Saamir himself. And they were basically just letting me know that someone was going to reach out to me and just putting, it was a nice kind of welcoming message. I quite like this, saying he just wants to introduce himself and that his team will be able to help him out. And then from there, I received a message on WhatsApp and the guy tried to call me. And pretty much what he was going to be doing here was running a triage. And what this does is it double checks pretty much how much money you have. Because again, those Typeforms are useful for filtering people, but a lot of people lie and people do lie. So by having a triager, this is almost like the gatekeepers of your business. And like they basically will run like a 5 to 20 minute conversation, building some initial discovery, building some pain, and for most importantly, financially qualifying you to actually see how much money you have and if you can afford the program, and also giving useful context to the closer on how to pitch. I actually went ahead and made a video breaking down this entire process in a lot more depth and how I helped generate like $116,000 for a creator using the specific triage process and how it's really, really effective, how you should implement it in your business. So definitely have a watch of that. But pretty much after the triager has, qualified them, if they're DQ, the call will be cancelled or they'll be downsold onto their low ticket. But if they're qualified, they then made sure that the VSL is watched. If it hasn't been watched already, the triager will send them over the video to watch. And then pretty much the group chat will be made with that closer, be it on Instagram or WhatsApp. Again, that's just another touch point to increase the show up rate. Then you have some standard automations, SMS reminders, email reminders 24 hours before, 12 hours before. And then manually the setter will call up the lead on the day of the call, or at least an hour before that call to increase that show, make sure people show up to that call. And then obviously from there, there's a couple situations that can happen. So if they're actually on the call, they can either close or no close. If they've closed, you collect the cash, happy days, win-win. If they no-show, then the setter will call them up and dial them 7 times over a week to try and recoup them back onto that call. And then if they no close, then they'll just get nurtured or downsold on that call there. They'll get nurtured with some further free resources if, let's say, the situation where they might have money in a couple months from now. So that's what that is, pretty much is what that's doing there. So that's pretty much the entire process regarding the sales processes that you'll have there. Now, what he'll also be doing without a doubt is tracking a lot of the data. So pretty much every person that jumps on a sales call, they'll track the date, the name of the lead, the type of close it was, if it was paid in full or if it was a deposit, the cash collected, the revenue, the name of the closer, and any notes. And the reason why they do this is so that they can track all the data, so you can track key metrics like this, like the close rate, the no-show rate. And the reason why this is so powerful is because you can check to see any bottlenecks in the business. And this is so important if you're running any business in general, especially in info. Like it's so important you track data, because it really allows you to make the best decisions in a business, because you can figure out what the bottleneck is by just looking at real numbers. The numbers are the truth. And so it's really easy to do this. So we actually track this with our clients really effectively. We have these sales dashboards where we track literally everything, like cash per live call, average sets per day, total lead to booking rate, outbound lead to booking rate, from the setters to dialers to closers. And what this allows us to do is really figure out any bottlenecks in the business. So like, for example, if the show rate is really bad, then we can figure out, okay, is this an issue with speed to lead from the triagers? Are they taking more than 5 to 10 minutes to help a lead after they've booked in? Because that's another big issue that people have, is having a sales team that's slow. If you have a slow sales team, these leads are not going to reply to you, and they're never going to show up to your call. So it's really important to like really check these key metrics. If it's a closing issue, is it an issue with the sales rep, or is it even an issue with the content, the positioning of our content? People are not really liking us or trusting us enough. Is the VSL? So many things that you can track with data. So like I was mentioning earlier before with the opt-ins, you can kind of split test this to see if an opt-in is necessary, or if it's more effective to just let people go through. Tracking everything like the CTR, like the click-through rate. All of these things are super important to finding out how to scale, because if you were to tweak one thing, you might be able to like 3x your revenue the following day or the following month, for example. So really effective that you do that. So yeah, that's pretty much everything in terms of what Saamir is doing to run a $500,000 per month info coaching business. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in having some of these systems implemented into your own coaching business and you're not sure how to, then just go ahead and book in a call down below, and I can maybe point you in the right direction how you could set these up and how you could scale your offer to that 5 and 6 figure months. And if not, if you're someone that's just starting out and you feel like you have a high income skill that you want to monetize, and you're doing very well from it, similar amounts, like multiple 5 figures a month, and you want to start doing coaching, then also go ahead and book a call down below, and I can see how we can maybe start scaling your offer and launching your offer from there. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Take care and peace.